Another spirit said, its voice softer but no less imposing. You will face 3 trials. Only by succeeding in each will you prove your worth. Chioma nodded. I am ready. The spirit retreated, leaving only the largest one behind. Its form shifted until it resembled a wizened elder, its eyes gleaming with knowledge. The first trial is one of wisdom, it said, its voice steady and commanding. You will give answer to 3 riddles. Fail and you will not leave this groove alive. Chioma's heart raced, but she nodded. Ask your riddle. The spirit's voice echoed across the clearing. I am not alive, but I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Chioma frowned, the riddle rolling through her mind like a stone in a river. She paced, her thoughts racing. The answer was just out of reach, teasing her with its simplicity. Suddenly, a memory surfaced. Sitting outside the hut with her mother, watching the flames dance as they cooked their evening meal. Fire, she said aloud, her voice firm. The answer is fire. The trees rustled and the spirits paused, and for a moment, Chioma feared she had been wrong. Then a deep hum resonated through the groove, the sound of approval. The air around her grew warmer, a faint hum vibrating through the groove. You are correct. Fire grows without life and breathes without lungs. Chioma breathed a sigh of relief, but she knew there were 2 more riddles to answer. The next riddle came swiftly, as though the spirits were testing her resolve. The next riddle, the spirit continued. I have no eyes, yet I see the past. I have no hands, yet I hold wisdom. I am carried by the old and sought by the young. What am I? Chioma began to think, her mind searching for the right answer to the riddle. She repeated the riddle in her head over and over. I have no eyes, yet I see the past. I have no hands, yet I hold wisdom. I am carried by the old and sought by the young. Chioma thought of how the young ones would gather around the elders to listen to them tell stories. Then she told herself the answer is story. But she wasn't convinced with the answer because she knew not all stories hold wisdom. The thought of her dying in the groove made her think deeply about the elders she had grown up listening to. She remembered how the elders in their village often spoke in proverbs, his voice weaving wisdom into every story he told. These proverbs were a way to teach lessons about life, respect and survival in the world. Though proverbs had no physical form, they saw the past through history and tradition, held wisdom by distilling complex ideas into simple words, and were carried by the old but constantly sought by the young for guidance. Chioma closed her eyes and whispered, it must be a proverb. The realization felt like a revelation as she connected the riddle's description to the living wisdom embedded in her culture. Slowly but calm, she voiced her answer. It's proverb. The answer to the riddle is proverb. The spirit's facial form grew serious and angry at her response, but didn't say anything, and suddenly whispers filled the air and mist covered the grove, leaving Chioma confused. She became scared, thinking she had failed the answer, and the thought of her never seeing her mother engulfed her mind. Soon tears rolled down her cheeks. You have given the right answer to the second riddle, the spirit finally said. Then the mist vanished and the whispers ceased. Upon hearing the spirit's response, Chioma clutched her chest, gasping for breath. Relief surged through her, knowing she had passed the second riddle. Child, are you ready for the third one? The spirit asked. Chioma straightened her back, her determination unwavering. I am ready, she replied. Remember, if you fail, you will not leave here alive. The spirit added, I am not a man, yet I can possess men. I am not a king, yet I command armies. I have no body, but I rule minds. What am I? This riddle was different. Its answer was not so clear. Shoma pondered deeply, feeling the weight of the groove around her. The moonlight filtered through the trees, illuminating Chioma's face, as though it was trying to study her. Chioma took some steps backward and rested on a tree. Her head wasn't clear, but she knew she must remain calm to be able to think straight. As she pondered on the answer, she recalled her own struggles and triumphs throughout the journey. She thought of how her ideas and decisions had shaped her path. Suddenly, she remembered her mother's words from long ago. What rules a person is not their strength, but their mind. Your thoughts can make or destroy you. Shama realized the riddle was about thoughts, unseen but ruling all actions and decisions. They had no body, yet they held immense power over men, shaping lives and destinies. With so much confidence, Chama responded, the answer is thoughts. Thoughts are the root of all decisions, she explained. They guide our actions, whether for good or bad. To master one's thoughts is to master one's destiny. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, the voice of the Spirit spoke again, this time full of respect and reverence. You have answered well, Chioma. Thought is indeed the most powerful force. It can possess and control, shape the world without a physical form. You have passed our test, but be warned, the trials ahead will demand more than mere thoughts. As the spirit faded into the light, another emerged, its form fluid and unpredictable like a storm cloud. Your second trial awaits, child. Will your resolve hold strong? The spirit asked as it vanished completely. Chioma stood in the clearing as the second spirit took shape before her. It was a towering, shifting mass of shadows, with glowing eyes that pierced her very soul. The air grew colder, and the groove's once whispering voices fell silent, as though the forest itself was holding its breath. You have proven your wisdom, mortal, the spirit intoned, its voice echoing like thunder. But courage is the root of action. Without it, wisdom is empty. Now, face the test of courage. The ground beneath Chioma trembled, and the scene around her began to shift. The clearing dissolved, replaced by a dark, dense forest filled with towering trees whose branches coiled like skeletal fingers. The whispers returned, louder and sharper, but they were no longer the gentle murmurs of the grove. They were mocking, accusatory, filled with venom. You cannot save them. Your people deserve the curse. You are a fool to try. Choma pressed her hands to her ears, but the voices only grew louder, invading her mind. A chill ran through her as she felt a presence behind her. Slowly, she turned to see a figure emerge from the shadows. It was her mother, Ebele, but twisted. Her once warm eyes were hollow, her face gaunt and cruel. Why did you leave me, Chioma? The figure rasped, its voice filled with sorrow and anger. You think you can save me? You think you are strong enough? Chioma's knees buckled, her breath catching in her throat. She knew this wasn't her mother, but the sight of Ebele's familiar face, distorted and broken, cut deep. You are not real, Chioma said, her voice trembling. You are a test, a trick. My mother is waiting for me and I will save her. The figure's face contorted into a wicked grin, and it lunged at her. Chioma flinched, but she stood her ground. The figure stopped mere inches from her, its form flickering like a dying flame. Courage is not the absence of fear, Chioma whispered, repeating her mother's words from long ago. It's acting despite it. As she spoke, the figure dissolved into mist, and the oppressive darkness began to lift. The whispers faded, replaced by a gentle breeze that carried the scents of earth and flowers.